Alright, first time I'm actually playing in a while. We're going to be playing Villalva in the first round of the weekly open. Computer's been running a little slow the last couple days whenever I try to record. I should probably not have so many things open, but what can you do? Um, yeah, first time playing in a while, besides some random closed games. I've certainly, watched a bunch of open games happen and thought about it a bit, but it'd be fun to play again. It's been a while. And let's see how we do. Level 8 is always a fun level. One of my favorites. One of the curious levels out there because it is the only one that has level 9 as the maximum number. I think the only other level that has a unique maximum number is level 1 with 6s. I think level 2, yeah, level 2 has access to 7s, and then that's true through level 5, and then level 6 and 7 have access to 8s, and level 9 and 10 have access to 10s. So, alright, here we go. What do we get for a hand? Looks like we're kind of left organized. We have 9s to the left. Are those ever dominated? We have a lot of 9s. I'll say best of luck here. And also in the chat. It looks like our 9s are pretty comfortable going left, though we don't necessarily have their 9 beat with any of our cards. And that 6, 7, 9, 4 could give troubles. That could sweep a bunch of our hand. Okay, going to the right, we have a 9 and an 8. Gotta be careful to hold on to those cards. Really easy to drop off quickly. Depending on where it is, the 4, 9, 4, 8 can beat anything, but not necessarily. Going down, we have a 9. So that 4, 8, 9, 3 is going to be a pretty important card to hold on to. And that beats most of his hand. And going up, we have 7s, and that's going to be trouble. Okay. But 4893 again covers for some of the 9s facing down, which is a nice feature of it. Okay. First thing to look at, I didn't actually take the time to check out their hand. They have 9s up and down, 9s in all directions, and it looks like some support, but generally their hand a bit more facing right than left. Pretty equal up and down. Okay. So we have safety, and they have recaptures. And then the question is, if we start in, say, 1 or 7, and they go in the other, do we have a nice setup in 2 or 8? I guess the answer is, yeah. We could play something like 7-5-5-9 in 8, or 7-2-7-9 in 2, and have a serious threat in 5. Of those two, the more appealing to me is 7-2-7-9 in 2, because if they block 5, which is hard for them not to, we have a pretty good chance to be able to play 4-8-9-3 safely in 3. And that'll recapture and make it 5-5, and we'll have 3 saved cards. If that happens, can they play in 5 such that they control 3? If 6-7-9-4 lands in 5, they don't control a 9 down in 3. 7-9-5-2, no. 6-8-2-9, no. 9-2-9-4, no. Okay. So I think that's a pretty good game plan. 4-9, 4-8, and 1. They go 7. We play 7-2-7-9 and 2. They probably have to block 5, but not necessarily, because we have such weak numbers facing to the right that they have some freedom to go elsewhere. Might have to be careful there. Okay, maybe not that great. It's an idea. We could also start with 7-2-7-9 and 2. But I think that move order is just worse, for reasons I don't think I have time to get into. So 7-2-7-9 in 9 also strikes me as somewhat appealing. One of their captures we have covered by combo. The other we do not. No, I think I'm just going to go with the plan I saw. We have 2 minutes more to think, so we could Could try to come up with something, but I'm not seeing a ton of combo potential that draws me to other moves. So I think we're going to play a line that I view as relatively safe. Did that not play the move? Click the square and it put my card back down. Weird. Okay. My idea is 7, 2, 7, 9, and 2. I think in that position their best try might be an 8. And I sort of think 8 on a logical basis. If they go in 3, I go in 5, and that favors me. I lock in a lot of cards. If they go in 5, I have a nice move in 3. Of my 2 threats, my much bigger threat, I think, is actually to go in 3 rather than 5. Because if I go in 5... No, this is better than I thought. Because they have relatively weak power to the left. So it's not like having a 2 and 5 facing out to the right is actually as vulnerable as it looks. And that's a reason that this move, I think, was appealing. So my main line here is they play 7, 9, 5, 2, and we play 7, 2, 7, 9, and 2. Now, I wish we had a little more control over what they do in 5. Because I do now think 5 is probably the main line, but 8 is also relevant. I think there's just probably a lot of ties here for them. I don't think I've created a big winning try. 6 could be interesting for them. What if they played 9, 2, 9, 4, and 6? Is that a lot of chaotic energy, or is that dangerous? I think it's just chaotic energy. Huh. I think, for instance, 6, 3, 6, 9, 9, 6, 7, 9, 4, 8, and I have to block 3, but I do tie there. Alright, I'm gonna play my planned move, but I don't think I've created any chances here, I think. I think this is pretty drawish. I check to make sure they can't really sweep both 5s and 6s at the end. Interestingly, if they go 6, 7, 9, 4, and 5, and I go 4, 8, 9, 3, and 3, if they play a 9, 2, 9, 4, and 8, then 6, 8, 2, 9 actually does sweep my 5 and 6s going down, but in that line I can just go in 9, not 6. Alright, I think I'm calculating fairly well. I didn't come up with some, like, great or even particularly good plan, but I came up with a functional plan. I aimed for an L where I had checked that I had a threat in 5, and made sure if they went 5, I had a good answer in 3, and I did a quick scan of other moves like 6 and 8, and deemed, okay, if they go 8, they don't have enough left power, I'm probably not in much danger. If they go in 6, I can play safely in 9, and I don't think they can set up the 3-5 combos well enough to be dangerous. So I think I did sufficient due diligence here, and I am pleased that I mostly did it before making my first move. I think that's an encouraging sign for my current level of play, and yeah, it's... You know, these L's are not as safe for the second turn player as I once thought, or is not as good for pushing for a win as I once thought, but I do think they're usually pretty good for holding, though I've miscalculated some pretty badly. So they do go 6, 7, 9, 4, and 5. Alright, so my plan was 4, 8, 9, 3, and 3, and we should just calculate it out. That makes it 5, 5. If they go 6, 8, 2, 9, and 6, I take it in 9 and I win. If they go 9, 2, 9, 4, and 6, I play either of my remaining cards in 9, and we tie. If they play 9, 2, 9, 4 in 9, I should play 7, 5, 5, 9, and 6, and I win. But not 6, 3, 6, 9, that would lose. Because I'd walk into a combo. If they play 6, 8, 2, 9, and 9, I can play either card in 6, and I win. If they play 6, 8, 2, 9 in 8, guess it's just a tie. And if they play 9, 2, 9, 4, and 8, I play a 9. So 4, 8, 9, 3, and 3 does not lose. I think 9, 2, 9, 4, and 6 is probably the scariest move, but we have ties there. Okay. Is there any point to trying to set up something in 9? I don't think it does anything. Is there any point playing an 8? Nah. And there's no lunacy in 6, so we're gonna just go with the plan. Did some calculating, did our due diligence, and it's gonna be a tie. Oh, I should have input the game in my my records. I forgot about doing that. I haven't, I'm used to putting other people's games in at this point. All right, pretty happy with this first game. Villalva was up, and our move order was 29594, 49481, 79527. It was the kind of game we could both play pretty automatically at all points. Like they gave me safety, I gave them safety, I had a setup for 5, they blocked 5, Not the kind of game that that is going to take super extensive thinking, but I'm pretty happy with how it went. I was expecting 9, 2, 9, 4, and 6 here. There are a number of ways to do it for them, and for instance, 6, 8, 2, 9, and 8 works. But it's not the move I was expecting here. Not that it makes any difference at this point, unless I've gone completely off the deep end. Right, so 6, 8, 2, 9, 8. And so 7, 5, 5, 9, 6, they combo back, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do it with 6, 3, 6, 9. Just make sure there's not some way the combo does something. There is not. And we have a tie. Comfortable tie. I think for both players. I think just pretty balanced tie. And I will put up again. Game, open. Let's see if I can get the rules right 2 times in a row. Plus all random combo, level 8, FF decks. And, yeah. We will be facing, if we win, which obviously I am hoping I do. Also, got to make content. That's very important. Should I stop the video and start recording a new one? Nah, that was such a quick game. But, people like shorter videos. Okay. I'm going to say best of luck in the chat. And then we can get thinking about first turn. So I'm going to check their directions first. 9 down, 9 up, 9 left, 8 right. My big corners, we have a 9-9 corner for 9 that they cannot necessarily take. We will get back to that. We have a 9-8 corner for 3 that they have very well covered. We have a 7-9 corner for 7 that they can take with a 3 up. We're not going to have combo play against that. We have an 8-8 corner they can again take with a 3 up. We have a 7-9 corner in 1. Interesting to note, we have the 6-7-9 4 opposites. Holding on to mine might make it hard for them to put down theirs. So I guess the real question is, does 9, 4, 3, 9, and 9 hit hard? Now, I'm going to assume it's harder for them to take an 8 if they set up in 5. So 3, 6, 9, 7 cannot be set up there. But they can play 7, 8, 4, 7, and 5, and that sets up 9, 4, 6, 7 both ways. So that's very unappealing. I'm not spotting punishing combo synergies around the board. Where does my hand want to go? 9439 wants to go up left, 4489 wants to go down left, 6794 wants to go down right, 7945 wants to go up right, 8378 wants to go up left. I sort of have a corner for everything. It's a pretty good hand, but only the one double. I think 9439 will be able to land powerfully at another point. So I'm tempted to use 8378. It is the only thing that can punish their 9 facing down. Is the only thing that can punish that. I'm not seeing combo potential to cover squares my hand doesn't already cover happily. But they can't necessarily punish me either. I kind of want to play 8378 and 7. I'm not entirely sure why that move is jumping out to me. I think 6288 and 3 is kind of their default first thing to do. Maybe it's better to try to block that, because they have nicer play off that than I do. If I could get rid of that square, that would be nice. That would be nice. Oh, if they do the big 5 setup against my card 9, it sets up my 8378 as well. I should have seen that sooner. So do they have any other setups? I should check that. 11-5. No, I don't think they do. So I actually think then that that is very appealing, especially because if 8378 lands in 8, it is safe. And if it lands in 6, it's not safe. I don't have great cover, and I think I should go the big corner. I think it's sufficiently hard for them to touch, and the ways they can touch it set me up well. I think I got pretty lucky with the hand here. Remarkably balanced. I get to use one of my redundant corners, so I have a sort of fully balanced hand next turn. I have first turn in a matchup where we have opposite cards, and opposite cards that play well together, right? The 7-4s really play off well. And I have 8-3-7-8, a card with the same relevant gaps to 9-4-6-7, such that it's a little tricky for them to play 7-8-4-7 and 5 without giving me some play. I still suspect they can get away with it, but it is quite risky. And they will have to start blocking off those squares immediately, and if so, I would have a chance to press. Now, one question is, do I want the game up, down, or side to side? Because if they do something like 5, there's the question of, do I play 1, which is often the most kind of straightforwardly non-committal option, or do I play something like 2 or 4? And 2 or 4 will be deciding whether I want up, down, or side to side. Alright, he just gets rid of it. Yeah, this is a trait Villalva does a lot, where he says, you have a big corner, I'm just gonna take it off the board and make you do something else. Not a bad plan. 7 is often very appealing here for pretty obvious reasons. And 6 is appealing to lock in my card. Ideally, I'd rather go 7 because a single out-facing square is pretty valuable to occupy. And it could also get 7, 9, 4, 5 out of my hand. It would be a similar thing to they play in 8, trying to remove 9 from the board. I play in 7, removing the dead square of 7 from the board. I also thought briefly about moves in 4, but I don't see anything I particularly like. Maybe worth a second look later. But I think 7, 9, 4, 5, and 7 has some appeal. 6, 2, 8, 8, and 4 is scary to play. Probably okay, but scary to play. And I think I'd have pretty decent cards for that endgame. They'd have to be pretty careful there. That feels like I should be in good shape where it's definitely them that has to be careful. Okay, yeah, I'm comfortable with walking into that. So the real question is, it draws 3, 6, 9, 7 out of their hand. And I was thinking there, maybe I can just go something in 5. Either 8, 3, 7, 8 or 4, 4, 8, 9. I grab 5. I lead 6, 4. I probably keep 4, 4, 8, 9 in my hand. Yeah, that's important, I think. They'd still have 6, 2, 8, 8 in my hand, so 4, 4, 8, 9 cannot necessarily land safely in some spots. There, there, there. Huh. No, I don't love it. So there's also 6. I really would like play against 8. Could start with 8, 3, 8, 7. Actually, 8, 3, 8, 7. They go 4 with 3, 6, 9, 7. I play 7, 9, 4, 5, and 1. And any of their cards that go in 5 are susceptible to combo. Right? I don't have enough time. I'm gonna try it. I'm not sure about this. My idea is 3, 6, 9, 7, 4. I might have a move in 5 there. I'm not ruling. I'm not super committed to going in 1. But my idea is 7, 9, 4, 5, and 1. Because if they go 6, 2, 8. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. 1 sec. Oh. I was gonna mute the mic, but didn't get there in time. Okay. 3, 6, 9, 7, and 4. 7, 9, 4, 5, and 1. If they go 6, 2, 8, 8, and 5, then I have 4, 4, 8, 9, and 2, and I combo everything, and they don't have a combo back. If they go 7, 8, 4, 7, and 5, then I have 4, 4. That doesn't quite work. 4, 4, 8, 9, and 6 is a threat, but they do have the combo back in 3. So that doesn't quite work. I also have 6, 7, 9, 4, and 2, but they do have the combo back in 6 there with 9, 4, 6, 7. So they can probably play 7, 8, 4, 7, and 5. Yeah. I don't see what I'd have there. Okay. That doesn't quite work. And lastly, just to go through it, if they played 9, 4, 6, 7, and 5, that gives me a same in 6, but they have set up a plus in 2 as well. So they have good cards to land in 5. So maybe my thought process should be more they go in 4, I go in 5. But then it has to be 4, 4, 8, 9 at this point, and that's not a card I really want out of my hand. Notably, if I could land 4489 in 5 and 7945 in 1, then 6794 would have both 2 and 6. Which would be fun. So there's still play here. I had two concepts. My main concept here was I think I can meet 4 with 1, which seems to be wrong. They have very good cards to play in 5. But I can also just meet 4 and 5, which was my initial idea with 7945, was to meet 4 and 5. I just saw with this version I maybe could set up 1 to be safe. But now it seems not so appealing, and like I might run out of left. That might just not work at all. Might just not work. So at this point, I guess my main line is something like 36974, 44895, 78471, and then I think I can play 6794 and 6. And it's 5-5, and 7945 does cover their captures. So I think I'm sneaking out of here with a tie. But this was less comfortable. I felt I should have had a nice position after my first move, and I couldn't make anything happen with my third to try to push seriously. Okay, this was, of course, not what I expected. This doesn't set up a threat. I could take that from 2. I could also block 4. Alright, this feels like it gives me options again. So 7945 and 4. Let's just say they stick a card in 5. Don't know what. But something doesn't capture, right? If I play 6794 in 6, I almost always win. The only way I don't win is if I either set them up for wombo combo, which can't happen, or they can play 6288 in 3 and have a 9 facing up. So 9467 and 5. But that loses to 6794 and 6 because I flip 5. Okay, so I don't think they can go 5 there. If they go in 2, so they go 2. My cards aren't quite clean. Do I have a cleaner way to start in 2? No, they have combos there. Do I have a cleaner way to start in 6? Maybe I can get a card out of my hand I don't want. Like 7945 is probably not a very good card for me. Can I just remove it in 6? Does that do anything useful? My 6794 is now amazing in 4. Any card they play that lands in 5, that dominates. And it's really good in 5 as well. So if I can leave 4 and 5 open, potentially that can be good. And so if I play 7945 and 6, and they go in 3, then I can probably play 4489 in 2 and feel pretty happy. And similarly, if they go in 2, I think I can play 4489 in 3 and be happy. So I think they have to go in 5 or 4 if I go in 6. I'm trying to reason quickly to get through more complex features. And if that's the case, Fat Chocobo's really good, and 6794 lands hard in 4. It's hard to imagine that not being favorable for me if they start in 5. So I think they kind of have to go in 4. And then I can play 6794 and 5. I will lead 6-4 and 4489 sweeps. So using kind of quick reasoning rather than pure calculation, I think 6794's best scores are 4 and 5. I think 7945 will only find use in 4, and otherwise it has to be a structural type move, like 6, which is how I got to the idea. Fat Chocobo wants to be in 2 and 3. So if I have a card for 2 and 3 and a card for 4 and 5, and can put the other card in 6 usefully, this feels logical. For instance, if they play 6, 2, 8, 8, and 3, I can play Chocobo in 2, and it's 5, 5, and 6, 7, 9, 4 still has threats. Yeah, I think this is strong. I think this is a very good move. I'm quite pleased with this move. I think there were a bunch of moves that looked promising. And I think I chose a good one. Obviously, the move in 1 is a little strange feeling, like really relying on, hey, this card's almost safe, and if you go 2, I have combo play. But it is a loose card, right? It's a loose card justified by tactics. And sometimes those moves are brilliant, and sometimes they are not. I really liked his move in 8. I really thought that move, the starter in 9, just like the hand gave me a big advantage. And I think what great players do on second turn is kind of take a position that should be soaking up pressure and just immediately neutralize all of it. And there's often like 1 or 2 paths that just not only are you not under, are you not losing, but you're not even having to under all that much pressure the next turn. I'm not sure about my move in 7, but I feel really good on my move in 6 here. I could be wrong that it's winning. I didn't do a clean calculation, but I think I did a smart and efficient calculation, given kind of not calculating. But I mean, obviously I did some, but doing a kind of, here's how the board works. And you can often do that kind of dividing up sections of the board and thinking, and I've talked about this a lot specifically for T structures, and then immediately gotten it wrong. Because every time I'm like, this is a perfect example, Piggy is playing the defensive side, and he always spots something I didn't. And that's, I didn't win a game against TTAC that would have clinched the match, and then he went on to knock me out and make the finals. In one of the first tournaments back, I think the Speed Championship, I was also up 1-0 against Piggy, and thought I had a win out of a structure, and just he had a combo somewhere and it screwed it up. And there are a whole bunch of games where if there's combo potential somewhere, it's a little less clean. And usually it's if there is combo potential with one card in the middle that has a high number facing out towards somewhere. If there's combo potential on that card, there are tools, and there's a chance you can't just divide up the board and see this card is a plus here, this card is a plus here. Both cards are guaranteed to be able to go in the zone they want to play in. We're good. So that kind of calculation can be tricky with combo potential. But here, I have nothing loose that's going to be able to flip extra stuff. And I think that makes it easier, even though in some ways this is a more complex type of structure than an S or a T. Didn't post the game either. I should do that. Where is it? The first game, I mean. Weekly Open, that's what I'm looking for. And history, the previous game was 1785, or 785. So we'll post that. Where'd Weekly Open go? There you are. I hope this was an interesting game. I think I'm actually in pretty good form. very pleasantly surprised with my ability to reason and calculate. Right. So the first game was 4, 1, 7, 2, 5, 3, 8, 6, 9. And we will stop looking at that one and return to our regularly scheduled programming. So I thought 6, 7, 9, 4 in 4 sweeps here, and I checked to make sure that they didn't have the combo back in 2, and they do not. They do not have a combo through 3. They could, of course, right? If they had a combo in 3, that would go through 6, would go through 5. But actually, I can also just start with I can start with Fat Chocobo in 3 here as well, right? Because even though they can combo that, 6, 7, 9, 4 then has everything, and they don't have a threat in 4. So there's a couple ways. No, it doesn't have everything. Of course it doesn't have everything. It doesn't need everything, though. It doesn't need 2. But I'm going to start with 6, 7, 9, 4 in 4. That. Just making sure I can't somehow get comboed there, but I cannot. And you always want to give someone the oh, there's no way to lose 9-1. I try to lose 9-1 when I'm lost. So I wanted to give the opportunity to lose 9-1, but there is not actually a way to do it. Chocobo is not a good enough sweeper. Encoding overloaded. Yeah, my computer's running too much, but I'm not sure why. It wasn't having many problems with recording, and then suddenly it has been. And I'm not sure what the issue is there. Anyway, really happy with how I played this. I also think Villalva's move in 8 was great. He has a really good feel for moves next to a strong corner that remove a square and are weak to 5, but not weak to the corner that the opponent actually wants to play in. And maybe I had good play in 6 that I didn't really recognize. 7 felt right to me. But that was the one move of this game that I'm not particularly happy with, so maybe 6 was better. On the other hand, it speaks to how good a move 8 was, that I went from like a starter where I'm like, this sucks for my opponent, they just got a really terrible random, to I don't see any way to apply serious feeling pressure out of this. And so that really speaks to, I think, how good a move 8 was. And I'm going to now pause the recording and come back with a new feature I'm working on, which for me will take me like 15 minutes to put in, but for you will be instantaneous. Well, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is this took forever to run. When I have the recording open, it takes a lot longer for it to run various calculations and stuff. Making it pretty unfeasible to use as a live tool during games to show stuff unless I figure out a multi-computer system. But fundamentally, if I am recording, asking the solver to do early game stuff is just not feasible. It can run late game stuff, but the way I have this calculated depends on understanding the previous trajectory of the game. So I'm not sure this is going to be something I'm able to show live, the results of stuff on this, which is a real shame because I think it would be fun to have like the little bar up showing, oh, so-and-so has the advantage here. That said, here's the first game, and I want to compare kind of what it says to how I felt. In the early game, seeing our opening where we built a wall on the left-hand side. This is from the first game. I should pop you over to that game too so you can see what's being discussed in case you have forgotten. So let's open that game and see what it looks like. Yeah, this game, he started in 4 with 2, 9, 5, 9. I took from 1, he took back from 7, and you can see the evaluation here is very neutral. However, around the time I went in 2 and he went in 5, it got pretty excited about his position. It's possible I only really had the tying idea in 3 and that nothing else worked. But I'm a little surprised by that. I think this is partly that it, from seeing a lot of games, has seen a lot of kind of neutral positions where something goes a little wrong for second turn and they lose. And I think there are a lot of games like that. And so perhaps this is actually a reasonable estimate, saying, yeah, at this point, there start becoming, it's still more likely to be a draw than a win for first turn, but this really looks like a first turn pressure position. I would like to think, against someone of my quality, that it should be at 50%, but it doesn't know that, right? So I'd like to think like I'm always holding this kind of position, but that of course doesn't mean other people are not, to be incredibly arrogant here. So I think this is an interesting chart. It basically realizes towards the end, yeah, this is a draw. At the start, it thinks likely draw. And in the middle, it gets pretty excited for Villalva's position, which might speak to Villalva playing it quite nicely. Having an opening plan that converted into a little more pressure. And as I said in my calculations, I had to be pretty careful. I think having my card in 2 have a weak number facing out towards 3 makes it easier for him to attack in different ways, because he can just leave that card alone and know he'll capture it later. And so maybe there is a good case that this is actually a position I have to be fairly careful. Because he has a tries in 8, he has tries in 5 like he played. He might have tries in 6 as well. Yeah, no, there was actually a bunch going on there. I forgot the checking 6 and being a little worried there and having to be careful about that. Like the 9-2, 9-4, and 6 idea, which is fully in Akiyama's range to pull moves like that. He is very combo sensitive, I guess. I don't really like Star Wars, but force sensitive feels applicable here. Combo sensitive. There are players who are combo sensitive, and Villalva is certainly one of them. That's a phrase I should use more. I'm going to start saying that. Apologies to viewers who don't find this phrase as amusing as I immediately do. But so that was the first game we played. Now let's take a peek at the second game. I'll show the game first so you can remember what the game looked like. And this was the one where I started in 9. He played what I thought was a very good move in 8. I'm going to immediately, now that I've looked at the data, like it'll pretend like I said different things than I did just because human memory is inaccurate. But as I recall, my evaluation was something like, I thought 9 was really strong, but he was really in danger there because he didn't have a way to set up against it. He played 8, which took it out of the game, and I didn't see a way I thought put serious pressure on him. I played 7, and I thought he had a tie in 4. But also, fundamentally, I'm a pessimist, right? If I think they have a tie, I think, oh, this line is not serious pressure. But one tie out of 24 moves, even if I'm right in the evaluation, which I'm not always, and even if that is one of the more straightforward moves, there are lots of things players think about. There is no reason that what I think is the most straightforward move is what another player does, even if we're like equivalent level players. It is not straightforward just because it is a move that I would look at in the first few moves. And so I think what we're going to see here, spoilers, is I'm pessimistic. And I think that is a strength for me in some ways and maybe a hindrance in others. But what I'm curious to see is my evaluations. Are they just pessimistic? And so this game, yeah, so he doesn't go in 4, he goes in 1. And I find a nice idea in 6. I discard an idea in 4. And now we're going to pop over to the other sheet. We're going to go to game 95. And we're going to see what it has to say. Everything's running a bit slowly, as I have complained about too much. And how's our chart look? It thinks the opening position is not as dangerous for Villalva. I think it's wrong. I think this was really dangerous. It thinks after his first move, my pressure is pretty large. I think this is right, but fundamentally my pressure was large before his first move and he actually mitigated it a bit, and it's somewhat misevaluating the initial situation. And then it likes my move pressuring more, and the jump is when I went from he has made a move that is losing, but it's not necessarily trivial, to I have found the win. Now it turns out 4 was also a win, which I miscalculated, so I made mistakes this game. In calculation, my play was good, my calculation was not always good, or not always correct. But I think this was a tougher random than this suggests it was. But also worth noting, it's evaluating around a 72 at the position after I made my move in 7. And that's saying it's pretty close to evenly between a tie and a win. And at that point, I was starting to evaluate it more like, I don't think I got enough here. I think this is a tie. And I think this is substantially closer to a tie than a win. So it has a 72 here, which is a little under evenly between tie and win. And I probably, if we converted my words into thoughts, was probably evaluating it somewhere under a 60, where I'm better, but very much more likely to be a tie. And I think that was wrong. I think that was just incorrect. I think I reliably underestimate certain kinds of advantages. And I'm curious to see if this shows it. But those are the charts for the 2 games. Incidentally, this is a high level of play. I don't know how much it looks it, but in the first 40 games that I started taking data from this from the Christmas GB, out of 40 games, 3 of them were accurate. The first 40, I didn't. I've put in the other 50 or so, but I didn't check them for this. 3 out of 40 were played with no serious errors by either side. It's a really low rate. It's under 10%. It may have just been a weird sample. The actual number is probably higher than that. I don't know how much higher, but let's say higher. But between 2 strong players, like myself and Villalva, who are both going to put pressure on each other, I think playing the first game a tie with no serious mistakes is already suggesting of a pretty decent level of play. And so, yeah, I think that's interesting, and I think it was a nicely played game. So yeah, I guess that's all I got. Hopefully the chart at the end was kind of interesting. I'll stop babbling about them as much as I show them once I feel I've presented enough of them that they should be kind of comprehensible and make sense. But because this is the first time I've talked about it except for my introduction video for them, let me say if it goes to 100, that means it thinks first turn's locked win, 0, second turn locked win, 50 means it thinks it is balanced or towards the end lock tie, and as it starts, hitting 75 is kind of evenly between first turn wins and a tie, hitting 25 is evenly between second turn wins and a tie, and you can sort of evaluate from there, First turn scores about 53% overall, so it often starts around there, but if you see it start somewhere higher than that, that means this was a really great random, lower than that, really poor random. Here in the game I won, I think I had a bigger advantage than it thinks, but, it and I can differ. And, yeah, that's all I got.